Pop-ups are the most hated feature in e-commerce. They block your screen, they stop you from scrolling, and they beg you for your emails. The worst part, customers hate them and marketers misuse them. But here's the truth, pop-ups work, and they work really, really well. If done right, they can double your signups, reduce abandoned carts, and add thousands in extra revenue without annoying your customers. But the problem is that most brands treat pop-ups annoying salesperson showing a flyer into your face instead of a smart strategic tool to help your customer. So in this video, I'm about to show you how to create pop-up forms that actually convert without annoying your customers. I'm Lucas and I help e-commerce brands recover millions in lost revenue by optimizing their retention strategies, by, for example, optimizing their pop-up form and their entire email marketing backend. And as I said, pop-up forms are one of the most misused tools in the e-commerce space. So in this video, I'm about to show you first how most pop-up forms fail and how to fix it. Then I'm going to show you how to design pop-up forms that feel natural and are engaging. I'm going to reveal the best timing strategies that we've been using for the brands that we partner up with. And I'm also going to show you real-life examples of pop-up forms that convert like crazy. So let's start by understanding why pop-ups fail. Let's talk about how to create pop-up forms that don't annoy your customers, but they convert like crazy. And in my opinion, why most pop-ups fail are mainly down to 3 reasons, and they are definitely not the ones that you have in mind. After auditing dozens and dozens and working with 50+ companies worldwide, I've seen 3 major reasons why pop-ups annoy customers and they actually hurt conversions instead of helping someone and driving more revenue over the long run. These reasons are, the first reason is definitely poor timing. One of the biggest brands even make this mistake, and it's crazy, and it's terrible timing. They trigger a pop-up the second someone lands on the website, and I've seen it dozens and dozens of times, and that's definitely something that you shouldn't do. Why? Because the visitor, they don't even know something about the brand. So that is definitely a red flag. It's like walking into a store and immediately you get a sales pitch before you even look around. It's pushy, it's awkward, and it just drives people away, and probably your store is doing that right now. So double check that in Klaviyo to not run into this issue. So how do you actually fix this? First, you want them to engage first. Give them some time. Don't hit them up with a pop-up the moment they arrive on the page. Give them a chance to explore. You can then use behavior-based triggers that, in my opinion, just make sense, right? Instead of showing it immediately, you actually show it to people that already show some sort of interest. Either you can wait till someone scrolled at least 30% off the page before showing the pop-up form. Those customers basically already shown interest, so now that you can give the pop-up form and you can actually help them. What you can also do is you can use exit intent pop-up form. They basically work really, really good on desktop. It's basically if someone wants to hover or is hovering the exit button, then you show the pop-up form so you actually capture their attention when they are already in the process of getting off the website, so you're kind of helping them with some value, with an offer, whatever it is. By just making these small changes, your pop-up forms will definitely feel more natural and less likely like an interruption. And that basically increases that visitors actually engage with your pop-up forms instead of immediately clicking away, or worse, even clicking away from the website just because they're getting thrown something into the face. That's definitely in terms of poor timing. You could also work with time-based adjustments. So that's what I mean with behavior-based. So for example, after 12 seconds of someone getting onto the page, then you can show them the pop-up form, because that also shows that there is some sort of interest there. Next one, annoying and aggressive messaging. Another mistake, huge mistake that brands do is they use overly aggressive messaging that just immediately feels like a sales pitch than an invitation. You've probably seen pop-ups that shout, don't miss out, last chance to save, give me your email address, whatever it is. And to be honest, this is just super pressuring. And it just doesn't only annoy potential customers, it actually makes them distrust your brand. Instead of feeling encouraged to take action, they feel pushed away. Because to be honest, nobody really likes to be pressured into a sale or into giving an email out. So what's the better approach? In my opinion, it's keeping it natural, keeping it inviting. Instead of demanding an email, you rather frame it around the offer, around the value that you give out for the email in return, right? For example, rather than saying sign up now, sign up with your email to get 10% off, try something like enjoy exclusive early access to sales and special offers, or enjoy 10% off, or exclusive early access with 10% off discount, whatever it is, there's a huge difference between sign up now or whatever it is you're trying to communicate there than in comparison to an invite, right? So you definitely see that one is definitely pushy, the other one pulls, and you will see the difference in signups rate. Just that small shift in tone makes the pop-up feel like a benefit and not really a demand, which definitely increases the chances that visitors actually engage with it. Next one, let's talk about mobile optimization, because I've seen horror things when I've been auditing these accounts. More than 60% of e-commerce traffic comes from mobile. For some brands, it's 80-90% of the traffic, but most pop-ups completely ignore mobile users. They are massive, they're covering the whole screen, nothing is really optimized, and it's pretty much impossible to browse. On top of that, many lack a clear exit button, and you basically force users to either leave the site entirely or they absolutely struggle to close it, and then some marketers are happy with, I don't know, 10-15% sign-up rate, but yeah, they don't have a chance. So you actually, I don't know, 30% of the other 30% literally left the site. That's definitely nothing you want to have, right? Sometimes the text is also very small and very cluttered, so there's no proper layout, and it just becomes unreadable, and it's just a poor user experience. So definitely fix this by, first of all, making sure that your pop-up forms are mobile friendly. You definitely don't want to make them no larger than 50% of the screen. You just want to have it big enough to catch attention without being just too into the face. Second, as I said, always include a clear and easy to tap exit button. As I said, we don't want users to feel trapped. We don't want to force them to give the email. We rather want to give them an option, because overall we're still optimizing for performance for the store instead of just driving the highest sign up rate. That's not ideal, right? So that's that, and then play around with the fonts, play around with the buttons, and definitely make an option to be mobile only. So we always have a mobile version and then we have a desktop version, because there's a lot of nuances you want to adjust to make everything super optimized. Now let's talk a little bit about the design of a pop-up form to actually convert instead of annoy. Now, what we know what not to do is, now we can talk about how to actually do stuff that works. So first of all, the layout in and of itself needs to be minimalistic. Nobody will read a pop-up with 100+ words, so make sure it's actually clean and to the point. The call to action button also definitely needs to stand out. You can use high contrast colors to make it instantly noticeable. People shouldn't search for where to click, or it shouldn't be an issue to actually click on it. Overall, if you take a look at the pop-up form, it also has to be visually appealing. Instead of just plain text, you can play around with GIFs, product images, but make sure that, as I said, everything is mobile optimized, and that way you can actually grab attention. But as I said, don't overdo it. The goal is here not to distract, but actually just enhance the whole experience with the pop-up form. As I said, mobile optimization is a must. They are browsing through the phones, so you should definitely have a perfectly sized pop-up form, easy to read and effortless to close on any device. When all of these elements come together, you create a pop-up form that actually feels natural, looks great, and converts. And now that we covered why most pop-up fails and how to design them correctly, let's move on to the next one in terms of what actually makes visitors take action, which is the copy and the timing, right? So pop-up form is only effective if, first of all, it communicates value immediately. Second of all, it appears at the right moment. And third of all, it feels naturally instead of forced. So let's talk about how to write high converting pop-up copy. Most pop-up forms, in my opinion, fail because they ask for something before giving value. That's a big mistake, right? Instead of just saying get 10% off sign up now, we need to shift the focus from taking to giving. And here's how to make your pop-ups more persuasive, right? The first one is lead with value, not a demand. Way too many pop-up forms ask for an email without offering anything in return. But if you want visitors to sign up, you need to make them want to. For example, instead of saying sign up for our newsletter, try something more engaging. Try like join 50,000 customers getting insider discounts and early product order. Or instead of a generic discount like get 10% off, make it feel exclusive. Enjoy early access to sales plus 10% off your first order. That tiny shift already makes visitors actually want to engage with your pop-up form because they're gaining something valuable, not just because they want to or they have to hand over the email. The second part is definitely make pop-ups feel more personal so they don't feel generic. One of the biggest mistakes brands make with pop-ups is using the same generic message for every visit. Not all visitors are the same. So why should your message? A one-size-fits-all approach gets ignored, in my opinion. Instead, your pop-up form should feel like they were made just for them by tailoring the message based on their browsing behavior. So you can actually have that based on category, product pages, and stuff like that, and you will see a bump up in sign-up rate. So instead of, if someone looking at skincare products, instead of saying sign up for 10% off, you can, be more relevant. Struggling to find the right moisturizer, get expert recommendations plus 10% off. Or if the visitor has been browsing for more than 30 seconds, instead of rushing them with an aggressive offer, try something like enjoying what you see, let's make it even better, get free shipping on your first order. That feels relevant and natural, which actually makes them care about your pop-up form. The message is directly tied to what the visitor is already doing on the site, making it far more effective than a generic pop-up that could apply to anyone. The next one, avoid overused words and make the call to action button actionable. Let's be real, when was the last time you got excited to click a button that said submit or sign up? Probably never. Make clicking feel rewarding and people will click. So instead of using boring, overused words, make your call to action feel actionable and rewarding. For example, instead of a plain subscribe button, which you see dozens and dozens of times, try get my 10% off. That makes the benefit clear. Or claim early access. That feels exclusive and enticing. Or reveal my special offer. That adds a sense of curiosity, right? The key here is to make clicking feel like a win, not really a task. And you will see a difference from a well-crafted call to action, because it actually doesn't just encourage action, it actually makes people want to take the next step, and you will see it in your sign-up rate. Now let's talk a little bit about timing and triggers for pop-up forms. Pop-up forms can, as I said, make or break your website. Even if you have the best copy, the wrong timing can ruin everything. So here's how to time your pop-ups without annoying visitors. First of all, you can use scroll-based triggers instead of immediate pop-up forms. So we've covered that already. If you hit visitors with a pop-up form immediately, they will probably leave. Think about it. If you walked into a store and someone immediately shoved a sign-up form in your face, you would probably walk right back out immediately. A much better approach here is to use scroll-based triggers. Instead of showing up right away, trigger the pop-up when the visitor, as I said, has scrolled at least 30%, 50% down the page. That way you're engaging them after they already shown interest rather than disrupting their first impression. Just this small tweak makes a big difference, not only in sign-up rate, but also in conversion rate overall, because it allows visitors to explore, build trust before you're asking for something, and it ultimately leads to higher engagement and conversions, which is our most important. Exit intent pop-up forms without feeling desperate, super important. As I said, if people are about to leave the site, you can still have a last chance opportunity with the pop-up form, and you can even adjust the messaging around, are you sure you want to leave? Wait before you go, enjoy free shipping, blah, 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 blah. So instead of feeling pushed, they're feeling like they're now getting something. It works really, really well, and you can even have that on cart banners, because you can remind them of the value they are leaving behind, and it gives them a small nudge to complete the purchase. And you can use that in Klaviyo, you can have it, page specific. By offering something beneficial rather than just asking them to stay, you create now a win-win scenario. They get an extra perk and you recover a potential lost sale. And as I said, you can use a mobile specific pop-up form. You shouldn't copy paste everything. You want to adjust it completely to the browsing experience they're currently having. So instead of having a whole screen, you can have it slightly, you can slide up from the bottom, you can make it less intrusive, you can have flyouts, you can play around basically, but you should have a compact, clean and focused call to action button so people are not overwhelmed. Now that's all good. We know the timing, we know the triggers, we know the copy, we know the design. Now let's talk a little bit about how to actually test and optimize for maximum results, because let's be honest, the first hit is never the best, right? Because even a well-designed pop-up, they can always be improved, and there's always a better way to A/B testing the final version. In this final part, I'll show you what elements to test in your pop-ups to get the best conversion rates. I'll show you real examples of pop-ups that perform well versus others that don't, and I'm also about to share how small changes can lead to big improvements. So let's start talking about how to A/B test pop-ups for high conversions. So A/B testing, or called split testing, is comparing two versions of a pop-up form to see which one performs better. It shows you how to stop guessing what works and instead let real data decide, right? And here are the top things you should test in your pop-up forms. The first one is definitely the headlines. Your headline is pretty much everything. Nowadays, attention spans are super low. If it doesn't hook the visitor instantly, they are pretty much gone. That's why even small wording can have a big impact on conversions. Let's compare two versions for now. Get 10% off your first order, or your first order just got better, enjoy 10% off. Now the question is which of those perform better. Does the second version, which adds a little excitement and exclusivity, make visitors more likely to enter the email, or does the first one, which is clear to the point and keep them on the page longer instead of bouncing? The difference might be small, but these subtle tweaks can be the deciding factor between someone signing up or clicking away, and we don't know which of those perform better for your audience because every audience is unique, so you should test that. Next one, you can also test different incentives. So not every customer is motivated by the same type of offer. Some audiences love a discount, others care way more about free shipping. A simple test can help you figure out which one works best here. So pop-up form A, get 10% off your first purchase. Pop-up form B, get free shipping on your first purchase, right? By running this test, you'll see whether your people, your audience, sign up for a discount or free shipping. But more importantly, which one actually leads to more completed purchases, not just email signups. So you can see that in Klaviyo as well. For some brands, as I said, free shipping converts better than a percentage off, but the only way to know what works for your audience is to test it. Next, your call to action button and wording. And that is where the magic happens, and it's the final step before someone decides to take an action. But small details here, like color, wording, and placement, can seriously impact conversions. For example, you can have a green button that says send my discount, or you can have a black button that says get my offer. Now, which one gets more clicks? And you should definitely just test one version here. Green button, because it's more inviting, or black button because there's some sort of exclusivity, or gold button, whatever it is, you should test that because a slight change in button color and phrasing can definitely lead to a noticeable boost in conversions. I know it sounds funny, but it is. So definitely test that. Next, let's talk a little bit about testing, placement, and timing. So as I said, I think we covered that dozens of times now, but they shouldn't appear random. They shouldn't be immediately there. So you can test an exit intent versus a scroll trigger versus a timing. And then you can definitely see, do visitors engage more when they pop up early or when they are about to leave? Which version of those lead to more actual conversions? Definitely check that and see how many leads you're capturing and how many of those actually convert. Thank you so much for watching. Now you should definitely know how to design pop-up forms that don't annoy your visitors. You know how to write pop-up copy that actually converts like crazy. You know the best timing strategies when it comes to your pop-up form to have the best customer experience. And you also know how to A/B test pop-up form. Now, if you want to get access to 50 to 100 plus pop-up forms for an inspiration, then make sure to check it out in the description. I have a little link you can click on, and it basically gives you all the accesses to a bunch of stuff, including pop-up form examples for your inspiration. And if you found this video helpful, then make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, take care.